This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast. Okay, folks, it is Jonathan St. James, and once again, this is The Truth is Still Straight podcast. Before I start, in honor of Kevin Samuels, I want to give a shout out to the CIA and the FBI. And if you have
I'm a PhD.
Then perhaps you should.
That's why you will buy a dog and die alone.
Okay. I wish there were more sound effects. I'm gonna have to produce my own, but those are some that I could find and play on this show. All right, before we get started, I'm gonna go and give a shout out to my wonderful colleagues who could not be with us once again. That is Donna Marie, Dawn M. Kane, Donnie St. James, and Jim. And Jim said he would be here tonight, but unfortunately, I don't know what happened.
Oh, the deception, the betrayal, man, you deceived me.
Yes, perhaps next week. But I do want to say, of course, we all know by now that Kevin Samuels has passed away. Most of you who support this show had actually found out before I did. And I appreciate those who spoke to me about it. Most of you were shocked and a little disappointed, actually started to appreciate. Some of you originally liked what he had to say, but some people had a respect for the things he said and saw value in his show. And, just thank everybody who decided to talk about him in a positive way. Not even if they, even if they didn't agree, they still have positive things to say about him. So I appreciate that. And along with that, I just want to give a shout out to those who do support the show I know regularly, and that is Pedro Falcone, Tatiana Cruz, Lee, Tessie, Sister Millie from the West Coast. Special shout out to my sister V, Mr. Wilkes, Mahir, Milton Gonzalez, Beverly, Snotty, Reggie, and Courtney. Also, my brother and nephew. K-Law or Claw, not sure. I've been reading it Claw, but it could be K-Law. And RJ. And the reason why I'm shouting out RJ is because he offers some really good gems on a comment the other day, and I appreciated him for that. Thank you all. Now, what also happened to me, which I didn't appreciate, is somebody was very nasty on a comment on a previous episode. This just says something very derogatory. And usually when people say negative things, if they're in the light of giving an opinion to something that was said, I certainly wouldn't take it off, but because it was very nasty and disrespectful and insulting to me personally, I removed it and blocked the person from posting. Listen, I don't mind if you don't like the show. I don't mind if you think there's something that I should be doing or that I did wrong. Those are things that I value. This is a relatively new channel. So, of course, with experience, things would change. Just like anyone else, if you watch their shows in the beginning, if you even watch a show, for example, I know people don't appreciate Bill Cosby, but I'll take that for example. If you watch the first season of The Cosby Show, the set, everything was different than as the show progressed. And that's usually what happens with shows in general. And I assume it would happen on this one. So to the lady who tried to degrade me and disrespect me the other day, and another thing I just want to say to you.
How dare you?
For sure. And lastly.
How rude.
Okay, there you have it. All right. So now, I was questioning whether I should continue to react to Kevin Samuels videos, and I think that I will. But I don't know how long I'll do it for. If it makes sense to do it, I will continue. If it doesn't make sense, I will cease and react or just do stuff entirely differently. So I will react to Kevin Samuels, a clip of his last video that he did about 3 days ago. And the title of that video I should say, Modern Women Are a Party of One. Once again, the name of that video is Modern Women Are a Party of One. And I will proceed with the video. Let's go.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine. Can I not be on camera?
No.
It's
Yeah,
fine. It's
yeah.
fine.
You gotta be on. You gotta be on Instagram.
Hi,
Okay.
Ben.
How old are you?
I am 37.
All right. What's the question or the comment?
Your question was, am I
Yeah.
a
What are y'all holding out for?
party of one?
Yeah. What are women holding out for?
I don't know. Um, I was married and divorced. I didn't hold out, but I wouldn't say that I'm holding out today. I just, after listening to you, I don't see any hope in anything.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like my market value is not as high as it used to be prior to marriage. I have 2 children. I'm
It's
divorced.
not as high as it used to be.
Yeah,
Well, that's. I mean,
This is a certified
anything that
hood
ages and
classic.
gets used decreases. So I mean, that's expected, though, right?
correct.
Okay,
It
go
was
ahead.
expected though. So
Huh? What'd you say?
I said divorce wasn't expected. So I wasn't, planning on the decline. But I guess I'm a party of one now, and I don't know like how it works or
Who filed for divorce?
my husband did.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there for a moment. This woman certainly is a little confused. And I don't think she's confused because she doesn't know what is happening or understands the situation that she's in. I think what happens a lot of times, women get a little nervous being on the show, so it's very hard for them to express themselves. I think she understands. I'm just kind of sifting through the different inconsistencies that she said. She said her value was too high, but she was because of the divorce, there was a decline. So she kind of knows what Kevin's talking about. I just think she's a little nervous and is misrepresenting her feelings. Now, it is very hard. Let's be honest. It's very hard for people, especially women, to admit that in regards to what Kevin Samuels is saying, is that their value decreases as they get older. Who wants to say that? And I think that's a problem that a lot of women have that come on the show. And it's very hard for them to understand in the method that he's speaking of, because they believe that they have value, but the value that they are talking about is societal. So you do have societal value if you've improved in your career, your status, as well as your earnings and assets that you have. Yes, in a societal realm, you have improved, but when you go to a relationship realm, that is something entirely different than career, home, assets, and earnings.
Aha!
So let's continue on with the discussion.
Why'd you guys split?
Because I didn't know how to be a wife.
Okay.
I wasn't taught.
Okay. So
Yeah. I really want to let this video play as much as possible. I don't want to keep interrupting, but she said something that was very important, and that's something that we all struggle through. It's not a woman problem; it's also a men's problem. A lot of women and men do not know how to be husbands and wives.
Oh my.
Yes, because many of us come from dysfunctional or broken homes or homes where there was no mother, or homes where there was no father, or homes where there were neither, and no one has guided us and mentored us or raised us to be an appropriate husband or wife, and we end up where we end up. And a lot of times than not is in bad relationships slash marriages because we don't know how to interact in them. So I applaud her for sure and her honesty. Let's see where this goes, because we know historically that this starts off copacetic, and a lot of times the deflection comes slightly after when he digs into the story. So let's see.
So is that a more accurate reason why you feel like there's no hope?
Yeah.
So it's not the declining sexual marketplace value or the divorce, it's you.
I think it's a combination. I mean, now that I'm learning, I mean, I've learned a lot
Nope.
since the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with the knowledge that I have,
Merch.
I don't know if there's anything out there that would accommodate
Anything out there that what?
anything that would accommodate my situation. I mean,
Nah,
who
B.
wants to take care of someone else's kids and, do
Your ex-husband married?
no, probably watching.
Then why not go back to him?
I've tried. He doesn't.
Why do you think that is?
I don't think he's seen a change in me.
What's the name of your therapist?
Kevin Samuels. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have one.
You know what that is?
What's that?
The world's smallest violin playing My Heart Bleeds for You. I mean, what do you want us to say, man? I mean, you're married. You honestly said he divorced me because I didn't know how to be a husband. But then you go to the market and say, I don't think there's any hope because of declining sexual marketplace value. That happens for everybody. For all women in particular. It doesn't necessarily happen for all men, but yeah, our value decreases too. But then
That's facts.
you don't know nobody who will accommodate your situation. Yeah, the man you started your situation with. But why doesn't he want you back? Because you ain't done nothing.
Damn, son.
I wouldn't say that. I think I have gone to therapy. I have not in active therapy. But
What's the longest continuous time you've been in therapy?
So during the marriage, closest to the divorce, I was in therapy for the last 2 years trying to, rectify the marriage.
No, you one-on-one by yourself.
I was alone with that. I was alone in that.
So when you were in your marriage,
correct.
You were doing therapy by yourself?
Correct. When I saw things were going, hectic, I knew that I was doing wrong. I knew that I had a part to play, and I sought therapy. And the therapist kept telling me to get a divorce, and I didn't like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting revelation in the conversation, is that a therapist told her to get a divorce. Now, I haven't seen the entire video of this. I wanted to get a natural reaction to it because it is among the last Kevin Samuels video, but it's pretty disturbing if the therapist is telling you to get a divorce. Now, I don't know what she said about the husband, and I don't know if this is based on what she said about herself. It's very interesting that that was what the therapist told her. But let's see if she says anything revealing after this.
Was your therapist male or female?
A female.
Yeah.
So I went to the church. I went to the church after that and sought the therapy through, counsel through the church, through ministerial counsel and stuff. That worked out a little better, but by then it was just too late. I didn't actually, go through with full therapy. He had already, too much water was under the bridge and it was already over.
What do you mean it was already over?
I guess he had already had enough of everything. I mean, I stayed home with the boys. I raised the kids. I did the
What did he want you to do?
Good
shut up.
question.
Why didn't you do that?
Honestly, hindsight is 2020.
Answer the question.
I don't know why I didn't do that. At the time, I didn't know why. I mean, now looking back, I was stupid. I was angry. I didn't read all the stuff that I read now, and I've been like hooked on Shahrazad Ali for the last 5 years. And
So here's my thing. Too many people, unfortunately, when they get into relationships, last marriages, they don't have the approach of marriage when things go wrong. They should definitely be saying,
I'm fighting for my life.
but they don't. And it's the saddest thing about marriages is that people find marriage is so expendable. And that's the most serious problem when they do it. Because people get into marriage, forgetting till death do us part, for better or worse, rich or poor, sick in health, those type of things. People forget about that. They go to problems of the world, unhappy, let's be out. But it's interesting that people are actually more committed to their jobs than they are to their spouses.
Message.
And here's the thing, you'll not work at your job one day. You'll get fired, you'll quit, you'll retire, you'll die, perhaps. Somebody has to bury you. Somebody has to take care of you when you can't take care of yourself. And if you find a good person, it'll be that person. It'll be that person when you're in the hospital to visit you there, to get when you have a cold, to give you chicken noodle soup. Although I don't like chicken noodle soup, but they'll do that, nurse you back to health, drive you back and forth to your doctor's appointment, whatever the case might be. See you birth your child. Your job's not doing that. But so many people are more committed to the place that they work at than the person that they vow to be with till death do they part.
Aha.
And unfortunately, this lady is somewhat confessing to being overbearing to her husband. And I can only imagine how bad that is if he divorced her, because that's not a plentiful thing in marriage. Men do not divorce women as much as women divorce men. So it's very interesting that he divorced her. Now, of course, there could be some more facetious reasons why he did it, and was just using this some any old reason to get rid of her. But I'm not in their marriage or wasn't in their marriage, so I can't judge that, and I won't do that. That's not fair to her. But clearly, she could, I don't know if she was doomed. He could have just been finding any old excuse, but I'm going to take it on face value. And unfortunately, these things occur. That's very sad.
and you and a lot of other, people that talk about these types of things and the anger inside of us at times that we get from our moms and their anger. So I learned a lot, but
Right.
when it was time to get him back, I mean, it's been too long. It's been 5 years. He's in and out of different relationships, and then of course the divorce battle, right? That was
But
a problem.
is it he's gone on, or you haven't done enough work?
Maybe both, but I've been trying. I mean, it's been 5 years. I haven't moved on, and the thing is, I'm scared of the market, right? So I'm scared I haven't gone back because I don't think that there's anything out there. I believe in marriage. I believe in the oneness.
Well, the market's out there. The market's out there, but the market's going to ask the same questions I'm asking.
That's correct. That's correct.
I don't know.
What did you think you were going to get? I mean, when you were when you're in your marriage and being the way you were, what were you fighting for?
You know what? I don't know. I just saw my mom do it. I did what I saw her do.
Your mom was married?
No, she just fought with all of her boyfriends and fought with us. And
Who has custody of the boys?
I do.
How old is the youngest?
8.
Wow.
How did they see their father?
Never.
Not often at all.
Wow.
Why?
He says he's not financially stable to see them or take them
Mm.
because I take all his money after the divorce. So he blames me for that. But I offer, I ask, I beg him for
Hold on.
him, and he doesn't.
What state are you in?
Pennsylvania,
Do you get child support?
I do.
Cut off the child support.
How will I be able to help take care of the kids?
So, wow. Okay. Whew. Yeah. This is a serious discussion here. You know, it's not combative. It's a real discussion, and I understand what she's saying, and I understand what Kevin is saying. It is real difficult, this child support world that we live in. Unfortunately, courts will certainly rob a man blind in child support, where he would be paying beyond his means to support a woman who is unable to support herself. So, how does someone live off of that? And I could understand the frustration of the man not being able financially, which if I had to take a guess, you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but if I had to take a guess, he probably doesn't live in a place where he lives by himself. Probably has to live with somebody because he can't afford to live on his own. That's very difficult to take kids when you don't have your own place. When you're living with someone, you don't have a room for them to stay. Maybe he has a bed. I'm sure he doesn't want to sleep in a bed with 2 kids. I know it's easy to say, well, if he was a father and he loved his kids, he would just make that sacrifice. I could understand that. But if that is the case, I wouldn't judge a person. I would say try to see them under better circumstances. I know it's very difficult, you know, child support situation. You know, I've struggled with support myself, not through court order, but I have struggled with support, so I can understand how that works. And it can be very difficult to, you know, you're doing the right thing and you're paying, but it's also hard to, you know, to finance 2 places. You're paying support over there and you're trying to take care of your own responsibilities. It's very difficult. So I understand that. But not seeing your kids, it's just a sad thing. Listen, you know, you gotta try, guy. I understand that could be a strain and it could be very difficult, but the kids are the most important thing here. Whatever the situation is between you and his mom, your ex-wife, gotta just get on board with seeing your kids. It's very important. um you know, the best you can. And you know, I don't want to delve too in. Let's see what else happens, because you know I can go on all day about that, but I don't want to, you know, be judgmental of people's lives.
See?
I need that.
Okay, cut off the child support and have actual joint custody with your ex-husband. Straight up joint. 3.5 days with you, or 4 days with you, 3 days with him, 3 days with you, 4 days with him. No child support. Listen, that would send a damn sure close signal that you're on trying to actually do something different. It would also give your boys more time with the man they need to be with, their father. If he's saying the money is draining him, well, man, cut the child support off. Move in good faith. How will it hurt your boys if you cut child support and you actually have joint physical custody with their father? To where now the reason for the money is gone because he has to pay for them when they're with him. You have to pay for them when they're with you. So there's no need for the money.
I agree with that, but I could see that it
How
is
does
a
it hurt
struggle
the
for her.
boys?
I understand what you're saying. It doesn't hurt them at all, but
It hurts her.
if he doesn't have a place to live, where would he take them half of the time?
Told you. There it is. I knew that was what the issue was. Yeah. So I like I told you, I hadn't seen this video before, but I knew that's what was the issue was. He didn't have his own place, and it's very difficult. You don't want to be kids under someone else's circumstances because people can get very tired of your situation. So I'm probably sure he wanted to stay in good graces for wherever he's staying, whether it's a couch, whether it's a floor, who knows? I don't know what his situation is, but clearly it's not stable for him to bring the kids around. So I don't even know if he has a bedroom, and that's a possibility that he doesn't, and that's very sad. But what Kevin is telling her is release the money that he's giving you. And I'm sure he could buy his own place at some point and he'd be able to bring the kids over there. But I also understand what she's saying because she previously stated that she stayed home with the kids when they were married. So she probably started from the bottom of whatever she was doing and trying to build herself up to a place, I guess, where she'll feel comfortable. I don't know how long that's going to take her. I don't know if she has the ability to do that, but that's what happens sometimes when you divorce and you don't have the ability to sustain yourself. So I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. But I was right about the husband.
Lives in the car?
He lived on somebody's couch.
Wow.
Are you getting child support every month?
Oh
Yeah.
my.
I called it. Wow. That's kind of rough. That's kind of rough. I'm gonna say it's kind of rough that she's taking all that money. I mean, I get her situation. I certainly get her situation. It's difficult for her, but wow. Sleeping on somebody's couch. That's rough too. Uh, that's why it's important, people. Please, you get married and you're sacrificing a lot of things. Do your best to make it work. Please, I'm begging.
So he's on somebody's couch.
I didn't ask him to do that.
I didn't say you asked her to do it, but I just want you to understand that from the man's standpoint, ain't nobody gonna have shed one tear because you were with a man and you said it, and now after the marriage, you getting the money, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but what's more important, having a functioning relationship with your ex and having your boys with their father and having some semblance of a family, or this cold war?
I just feel like Kevin didn't ask for anything. I begged him to stay. I promised. I went to therapy.
No. See, you can beg him to stay, but I asked you the first thing, what was the name of your therapist? And the problem is he hasn't seen enough change. Let's just imagine this happens. Let me use my Thanos powers here, shall we? Let me use my Thanos powers. Hello, Eric. Hey, this is me. Yeah. I want to do something. The boys don't see you that often, and I know you're in this way, and you say it's on me because I get the money. So here's what I want to do. I went down to the court and I actually terminated the support order. I terminated the support order, and I want to have joint physical custody with the boys. I give you about 90 days to get yourself together to where you have a place to where the boys can come over there. So you should be able to do that with the money you get. There's videos on YouTube right here with women who have cut off the child support, and been helpful to the ex-husband, and now they're in a better position. How does that hurt the boys?
It doesn't hurt them at all, Kevin.
So do you not think if you cut the support off, what do you think he would do?
I think he wouldn't, because I think the number would change.
So you think if you cut the child support that he would not see the boys?
Correct. We were separated for 5 years and 3.
So let me stop you right here. I want you to stop you right here.
Yes, sir.
You want to get back with the man who you said if you cut the child support off, he just keep the money and still not see the boys.
Correct.
So why you want to get back with a man with such a low character? If that's what you really believe.
I literally believe in the sanctity of marriage.
That's not what I asked. I asked, why would you want to get back with a man? Because, see,
And here I thought it was going to go well in terms, and this happens a lot when ladies go on Kevin's show. A lot of times it starts off honest, and then when the spotlight gets shown on them, then they start poking holes at the wonderful person that they originally started speaking of. Now, she could be right. He could for certain take the money and not see the kids. That happens. But a lot of times that happens when the man is broken already and it's hard for him to get on his feet. You know, I think a lot of people underestimate the psychology of a man when they feel broken. Sometimes it's very hard to get back up when you've been beaten down. And not to say that she did it on purpose, but sometimes circumstances can bring a man to his knees. And you know, a lot lately, people have been discussing how men don't really discuss their problems. They really don't outlet to a source to alleviate the pain that they're experiencing in life, love, relationship, parenting, and family. It is true. I've done it myself. I've learned how to stop doing that. But I've done it myself. It's a very difficult thing to tell someone you need help, to tell somebody that you're at your worst, to tell somebody you're down and out. It's very hard. It's very hard. I've learned to do that of more recent, and I found a peace in my life when I've been able to share the burden, to share the load with somebody that can help. And that's the important thing, not to just tell someone to tell someone, but to tell someone that can help. And it's very important to be able to identify those types of people that can help you when you need it. This is a very sad discussion. It really is. You know, I appreciate the conversation that she's having with Kevin, and I certainly wouldn't beat her up for anything that she said. I can see she's trying to do the best that she can. Life is very hard to live in normal circumstances. Nevertheless, when you at a situation like this where you wanted to keep something and you didn't have the ability to do it, and no matter what you were able to do, what you were trying to do and the efforts that you made to fix things, they just weren't able to be fixed. That can feel very hopeless. And I don't know if she feels hopeless or not, but that can definitely lead you to a sense of hopelessness. And perhaps the father feels that way, her ex-husband, and that's why the kids are really suffering. They probably need some help to get out of that situation, but I don't know if he'll take it, and that's another concern. All right, I'm going to see what else she's saying. Try not to keep this much too longer because I hate to keep it on for so long.
there's fear here, and I'm trying to understand why you want to go back to this man. If you're saying I'm dealing with a man, if I cut the child support off and offer him joint custody, he'd just take the money and still be out of his boy's life. You don't think very highly of him.
I don't.
Wow. See?
But I still love him.
Wow.
I mean, I'm
There we
married.
go.
And like, I think that means something. I mean, I love my brother. He may not be the best person in the world, but I love
Did
him.
you hear what you just said?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I want you to think about what I'm about to say.
That's sad.
You're in charge of raising 2 boys.
That's sad. The truth. What she felt
You
about
don't
him.
think very highly of their father.
I don't tell them that.
You just said it here.
Do you know when your children are sick, even without them telling you? Do you know when something's wrong with one of your children just by looking at them?
Yeah.
Why? Because you raised them and they're around you. Guess what? We know our mamas just like they know us.
That's true.
I don't know why the hell y'all think just because you don't say nothing, we don't know.
That is true. That is true.
Can I say something?
Oh, hell no.
Wow. This is something else, lady. You're really off the rails now. I don't know how you recover from this, but I can see why the problem was.
Then So we were separated for 5 years. 3 out of the 5 years, I asked for no child support. I asked for nothing. He told me, I asked him for money for food. He said, put me on child support. That's what he said.
Man,
She
I don't
did.
care. I'm gonna tell you why I don't care. Because there's three sides to every story. Yours isn't the truth. I don't give a shit about who shot John. You said that why you want to get back with him. I'm trying to understand why you want to get back with a man that you don't think very highly of.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was told that.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Lady, ooh, this is something else. Really, you really need to go back to that therapy because there's really something wrong with you that you couldn't hold on to some sort of decency when it came to your husband. You wanted to preserve feeling okay about the choices you made in life that you had to throw them under the bus to get there. And I hate when people do that. I try not to do that, and I'm learning not to do that. When something is falling on my shoulders, keep it there. I'm learning not to try to point a finger. And when we're discussing what I'm doing wrong, I'm trying my best not to point a finger at somebody else, because it's important when you're trying to hold accountability for yourself to leave the needle on that part of the record. And unfortunately, she didn't do that. And she needs one of these. And now I understand why her husband did this. Destined for disaster, unfortunately. I think I'm about to wrap this up. I don't know how much more of this there is, but once they finish this topic, I'll end this video.
I'm supposed to stay with one husband until he's dead. That's what I was told. And I believe he may be a piece of crap, but I'm
Whoa.
stay with him.
Hold on, wait a goddamn minute, man.
I don't mean, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wait a goddamn minute.
It's hypothetically.
Wow.
There is no hypothetical.
Wow.
I don't do that over here.
I'm so sorry.
Run that shit on some feminist channel. Don't come call your ex-husband and the man that you created life with a piece of crap.
I'm sorry.
I agree with
I
Kevin.
did not mean it.
The internet is forever. What do you think?
I agree
I
with
didn't
Kevin.
mean it like that. I meant like.
Oh, you meant it in a nice way.
Wow.
No, I just meant it in like.
Stop.
This is a disaster.
Stop. Stop. When you're in a dick, stop digging.
This is a disaster.
What do you think it's like to live with you?
Very hard. Very hard.
Probably not easy, not fun. Some good stuff, but.
So do you think if you're around somebody who's difficult or not easy to live with, that they have an impact on your psyche?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Do you think he doesn't love his boys?
I never said that.
So do you think it bothers him not to be around his sons?
For sure. For
I
sure.
can't answer that.
Yes, you can, and you will.
Wow. So
Do I think
okay,
it
I'm getting
doesn't bother him that
disturbed.
he-
I'm getting disturbed now because here's the problem. Lady, this is definitely for you.
How dare you?
And if I was another person, I'd be telling you.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Because here's the thing. Now, if you said this guy is the person you said he is, a piece of trash, garbage, or that, why did you not only have one child with him, but had 2 children with him? 2 kids. Maury Povich, what do you think is the truth about this? Is the guy really the bad guy here?
Lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Now, I'm sure that he has some issues as a person, but for you to say these things about him after having 2 kids, what is the thing that they say? First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me.
Message.
All right, I'm gonna try to close this down for sure. I'm starting to sound like a pastor in the church when he's like, "I'm closing," and 10 hours later, still talking. Let's see what's going on here.
He's not around his sons. Nobody stopping him from being around the boys.
Now what I asked.
No, it's not what he asked.
Yes, I'm sure it bothers him. It will bother me.
Okay. This is everything we've talked about so far has been about you.
It has.
You're the chaotic center of all of this. And if the world was balanced, he should have custody of those boys. Prior to 1945, he would have had custody.
I'm not opposed to custody. He asked.
But then you'd be paying child support.
He asked for it at one point in time, and his living situation, he gave it back. He said,
Okay, man. Here's what I mean. Here's the thing. There's always going to be, like I said, the market is what it is, and the market's going to look at how you handled your. Why'd you quit your last job? Did you quit or were you fired? Who's your former employee?
For sure, for sure.
If your marriage was a job, you're not talking very highly of your job.
For sure.
So
I agree.
I'm stuck on the fact that you say he doesn't see his boys, not because he doesn't love them, because he said, you taking all the money. You said he's living on the couch. So he doesn't have a residence.
that's what he said. He's telling me he couldn't take the kids.
Nah, he's a liar.
He can't take them overnight because of my financial situation. So
He doesn't have a residence.
have anywhere to live or have
So
anywhere.
what happens when the boys ask where their dad is? When they say they want to see a dad?
They don't anymore.
Wow.
But when they used to, I would call him, tell him, come get the kids. The kids is asking for you. They're outside. You know, we live in a neighborhood where they could play outside. He could come by.
So but he does have a job.
He does.
Paying child support.
Is he paying more than $1,000 a month in child support?
He is.
More than $1,500 a month?
No, he was.
In what state?
Pennsylvania.
It was included with alimony.
Wow.
I got
Alimony?
child support. Yeah,
How long were y'all married?
about 10 years.
Wow.
Why'd you take alimony?
That's a lot. But the marital settlement agreement provided some benefits.
Did you work during the marriage?
I did not.
See, that I knew. I mean, I didn't, you know what I mean? I figured that.
And for my critics and detractors, I want you guys to ask yourself a question. Men don't typically file divorce.
I did not file for divorce. And
I said men don't typically file for divorce.
She's disagreeing with being disagreeable.
You're getting alimony and child support. All right?
She took him to, she got him.
Got him! Yeah, I can see why you're talking about the market. I don't know who'd want to deal with this in the market either, but I'm not really concerned about your dating life. I'm asking about the boys. They don't see their dad. You're saying that he says he doesn't see him because of the money, but I'm saying the two adults need to get the shit together to where the kids can see both of y'all.
I agree.
And if money, and I'm saying, I asked a critical question. If you cut the support off, you'd think he would see the boys, and you said no. You need to answer the question of why you think that is, because why don't you think he would see them?
Because he's done it in the past. 3 whole years.
Piece of garbage.
Whole years of not seeing the kids, no child support, have all his money, no alimony.
Where was he at?
He was right up the street, less than a couple miles away. He worked. He had his fun. I didn't bother them. I went and got a job. I went and provided. I kept the house. I kept the mortgage. I kept the mortgage paid. Didn't ask for anything. It wasn't until I lost my job or had to cut back.
So you didn't work during the marriage?
Correct.
Did you guys have financial pressures in the marriage?
No, not at all.
Has he changed jobs?
since when we were married, he had a steady job.
Right.
Since he's been divorced, he's gone through lots of different jobs.
What was it?
So I see what's going on here because I have a lot of experience and within, not personally, but in general, I see what happened here. I've talked to a lot of guys that actually go through this. And what I think she's not understanding is when you go through a divorce and the man is forced to leave or leaves, and not saying that she forced him out um, actually, but when I mean that he was, he had to retreat, it does a lot for your mindset. And when your mindset is not right, it affects a lot of things. It's, men don't handle relationships very well because relationships are not very easy for us to get into. So you'll hear a lot of times when women say, oh yeah, women get over relationship breakups faster than men. They do, because women, to meet someone else, there's usually guys around that's waiting in online to get with you when you break up with your man or your husband or whoever. There's not women waiting for men, that you if you're lucky, somebody that may like you and want to be with you if you break up or get a divorce or something like that. But in the general rule of thumb is when you become available, there's no one waiting in the wings, because not if you're not a baller or a celebrity or somebody who's very successful, you know, they're not trying to be second fiddle at all. So in a situation like that, um, you're starting all over again. It's very difficult for men to want to start all over, especially if they invested their heart into a woman and it doesn't work out. It's very difficult to move on and just run. I know for me in my life, when I've had serious relationships and I've broken up, I haven't moved on right away at all. It's very difficult because you're trying to figure out how to fix yourself, how to improve yourself, to keep your value, to bring more value, to grow from whatever it is you went through. So I'm going to end that video there because that was very rough. That was very rough for me to see. I think because that's something that I've went through in my own life as a child, and to a certain extent as an adult with my own, have a son, not through marriage, but a lot of you seen them, and the separation was not easy. So I can understand where, like I said, I wouldn't take his side, and he could have some issues other than whatever she did to him. But I do know that those things happen, and a lot of times a bad relationship can really affect the person where they don't want to be close to the person that they try to get away from, and the kids do suffer from that. So I think where she was honest and said that she caused him to run and flee from her, that could have also put a strain on a relationship with the kids, because you have to see the mother to see the kids a lot of times. And then sometimes when you have two fighting parents, there's drama with them coming to see the kids. And of course, she started off talking about herself, and in the end, everything was the guy's fault, her husband's fault. So we sort of lost the truth there after a while. And I'm sure, he had his faults. I've definitely doesn't sound like an angel to me or anything like that. But unfortunately, she let things get in the way. So, okay, folks. Yeah, it's time for the braces. Relationship braces. Bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. Lady who's trying to find love again. What can I tell you to get off your feet and find love again if you're really serious about moving on from your failed marriage? Here's the braces. Okay, so this is a very difficult situation. You're really gonna have to work on yourself and improve who you are as a person and make you more ideal for a relationship. listening to you right now, as Kevin said, I'd find a hard time getting in a relationship with you. So, got to improve yourself. Got to take accountability for the things you've done, and then be open to meeting someone new that can find you appealing and want to be in a meaningful relationship with you. Only problem is he may be
Beta.
but you may have to find him there. And those are the braces. All right, so that's pretty much the end of the show. I did want to say something before because I would listen to a lot of people kind of disparage Kevin Samuels and said he was disrespectful to women and stuff like that. I just want to say this, and I'll end the show after that. That his method was very harsh at times, but then at moments it was very careful and very considerate. So why was he harsh at times? Because some people needed the harshness to hear the message. And what does that mean? Have you ever seen a police car or an ambulance or a fire truck? They usually run the lights and the sirens. So lights clearly are supposed to mean that there's an emergency, but the sirens actually allow people to know that they mean business, that they need to get from point A to point B and to get out of the way. But without those sirens, the lights are meaningless. Now, you and I may see a police officer or a fire truck with lights and get out the way, but a lot of people won't get the message. So the message that Kevin gave that was sour to many people wouldn't have been heard under other circumstances. And that's what people have to understand and realize. So that's why I think for a while, I'll continue to react to his videos just for the sake of being able to have a discussion about what's the purpose of him being hard at times and soft at others, because he has been soft and very respectful to people. And what he always said, he gave what he received. So you treated him improperly, he wasn't very pleasant in return. And I would certainly miss his videos. It's very unfortunate. Thank you all for supporting the show. This is Jonathan St. James. And once again, the truth is still straight. I am out.